Hey Aries, this is Perrymore Tarot's daily reading for October 13th, 2025. This is for Aries slash shuffle for Aries. So, Aries, what we have now is great gratitude and we have commitment. There's something about being really, really grateful that you can commit to something in general, right? A lot of this to me looks like seeing the community or the people around you in a different way, seeing how things could be balanced for you too. You you got to go bigger. Some of you may be in a tight knit community or a tight group, and you may feel like you're not getting much out of the community base anymore. This could be friendships, the coworker a dynamic. You know how like sometimes you go to work and you deal with the same type of people and they all think the same way, and it's like you pretty much understand how everyone feels. We're all complaining about the same thing. We all have something more that we want to do, but we can't because we got to be at work all day gone day. You know how that works, and it's always funny to me how people would give advice like, well, apply for something better. You know what I mean? Do something better. Get childcare and such. And you look at how much childcare costs per week. It's like mortgage. you know, it's like, yeah, that it would be great, but I would just be breaking even on that, right? Or, I've heard people say, just get a better job. I'm like, if you see somebody working 10-hour days or every day a week trying to get hours, you don't have time to go to an interview. You don't have a free time to start beating the streets looking for another job sometimes. By the time you get home, you are tired. And so, to me, that's hilarious. When people do that, I'm always looking at them like, oh, why didn't they think of that? You know what I mean? I think we thought of that and we realized that the cost wasn't worth the risk. So, obviously, I'm stuck in this position. I just need, I see a lot of that going on where sometimes what you really need is a big hand up, like a check. And then that money will free you up to have that free time. I could take a day off. I could take 3 days off and I could really focus on this. And then before you know it, my life changes drastically. Some of us need a boost, not advice that we already thought of. Of course, we're thinking of more money. Of course, we're thinking of more opportunities. Duh. I find that hilarious. I'm so sorry. I actually caught wind of a conversation. I was standing in a line the other day, and I was listening to somebody say that to another person, and I'm looking at the face, like I could see the battle in that person to either go off or just be like, yeah. I could see the face. I was just like cracking up in my mind, like, yeah, I know, I can understand that's how it works. You got to take a risk. But you also have to take a calculated risk. And I see someone needing to create a more balanced life here. The Page of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles rather is an energy of saying effortless free flowing profits or effortless money. I feel that there's something that you need to dream bigger on, that you may put minimal effort towards. Things will get better for you. You've got to know that things will get better. Things will get easier on the job. Things if you are employed, if you're self-employed, things are going to start balancing out and become easier. Word of mouth is going to carry you. I see that as long as you stay focused, I think you're going to be very grateful for the focus that you had on something, even when you had limited resources. So if some of you have started a business and you're like, man, I'm like working like a one-legged man in a butt kicking contest right now. I don't know. I'm like flies on my my dad used to say that I love y'all like stank on crap and or flies on crap or something, white on rice. And he used to make up stuff. It would be so funny to us because we were just the silliest kids, man. And I see somebody who's working that hard. Like, look, I'm on it. You know what I mean? That much I'm seeing. It doesn't look like someone's overwhelmed. You may feel overwhelmed, but I don't see it necessarily. I see you being very grateful for the efforts you put in today, even with limited resources, limited time. Um, or maybe not enough support. I'm seeing someone needing to build a village, but having to dream bigger with that village. Instead of just saying, I'm only dealing with this community of people and we all in the same boat, dream bigger. You can have friends who, um, or you can envelop yourself in a world of a people that you aspire to be like. And a lot of us feel like, they go birds of a feather flock together, that kind of thing. They're bringing up community quite a bit, like a big deal of like, you know, uh, you don't always have to associate with people who are in the same position as you. You can associate with people who are where you want to be in life. And I always say that to people all the time. Like, well, I wouldn't listen to someone if I did not respect them or want to be or achieve the level of some kind of success, whether it's financial, spiritual, whatever. I would not listen to them. If they're like, if someone's divorced 5 times giving marital advice, I'm not listening to you. No offense. I do think that everyone has truth to impart. So I would listen to a certain degree. But all that a person can lead you to is whatever they've experienced. Right. So if I'm headed towards divorce, I would probably listen to that person because I'd be like, you know what? They know the ropes. They can help you find another partner, but can they help you maintain it? I don't think so. No offense to them. And no one should take offense to the facts. Facts are facts. But take nuggets of truth from that person. Like, oh, okay, that's why that's going down. Maybe I need to start working on a few things within myself so I'm not following their footsteps. Now, Spirit is saying you're going to have to compromise something within whatever it is you're already doing, especially if you feel like you're top heavy in a certain area of your life and you want to balance the scales. I have needs that I need, that need to be fulfilled, but I am heavy on another end of things. Like I've got all this taken care of, but I don't have that. They're wanting you to compromise what's already been taken care of, like compromise it to fulfill a need. They want you to go really big, though. They're giving horses, and horses are all about freedom, but this is also about you having the freedom. They don't want you to rush into anything. Of course, horses, represent fast, quick, but they don't. They're saying not to rush into anything. That you've come a very long way and now you may be more aware of your life's purpose or more aware than you ever were. Maybe you're not very clear about it, but you have a better idea of what you are good at and what helps others or what is more beneficial to you and others. You may have a better idea, a clearer idea of what that would be. Some of us don't figure that crap out until we're 50, okay? Never feel. I know when I was in my 20s, I used to feel the pressure, immense pressure to have something going on for me right then and there. And in reality, I was building my awareness of life's purpose, of my purpose. I was just building the awareness of it. I didn't know what the heck I was going to be doing with I was all over the place. You understand? I like to think of myself as a very driven person. When I really want to do something, I immerse myself in it. But when I tell you throughout my 20s and even my 30s, I had no idea. And I would venture to say that Spirit's trying to tell you that you don't need to know it right away, but know you're on the way to getting it. If you don't know, if you're like, I still don't get it, I don't know what's going on with me. But they want you to dream much bigger. Allow yourself to dream because a lot of your purpose is housed in your imagination and your dreams of where you want your life to go. Okay, something beautiful is going to grow out of all of this. I kid you not, that is exactly how purposes most of the time are stumbled upon through some kind of like mess, right? You dig up the garden, you're tossing all these weeds out, you're doing all this construction to your yard, and then something beautiful grows out. After you plant everything, you're waiting and watching and hoping and praying that something comes up from these seeds I planted. And then something amazing happens. The most beautiful, create all these things are just, beautiful that come out of it. But it requires a lot of work, a lot of care, a lot of weeding, right? And they're throwing that out that maybe you have gone through a period where you're like, I realize that doesn't work for me. I realize that doesn't work for me. You may have spent a lot of time doing a lot of things, focusing on things that maybe, kind of hurt, because now you're so far removed from those things. And maybe now you have needs so much more than you ever did before, or just in general needs. We all have them, right? So there's an energy of being grateful for the things that you went through, the time that you spent in all the different areas that you spent them in. and the focus that you have. You're going to be really grateful for the person you are today. Down the line, you're going to be looking back at this going, wow, I thank you, Aries. Like, there are times in my life where I really, actually, every day, the next day, I do look back at yesterday and go, thank you for studying. Thank you for understanding that or wanting the knowledge, because now I know, and I'm so grateful. But it took me a long time to be that person, though, to be able to say that. Commitment is the Knight of Swords and Justice. So the commitment in this is usually an event, something that happens where you spoke it and then things started to balance out and happen. Okay. I do feel that your word, your spoken word is very powerful, because the angel number 3333 is showing up for me. And that tells me that the problems that you have today, right, or the needs that you have today will be fulfilled. They will disappear. It may not be right away today, but don't think that whatever you're dealing with is going to be all, this is it, that's it, I'm always going to be needing this, I'm always either going to be broke or hungry or trying to bribe Peter to pay Paul. That is not you. It's not what you are meant for. If you see the angel number 3333 especially, know that spirit's like, don't worry, this isn't going to be you, you know. um, I see your guardian angels encouraging you to maintain a positive outlook on life because your luck is about to change. I think it's really time for you to use your personality, your captivating energy, your inspirational personality. But don't let it be like an ego driven, I know everything type of thing, which I don't see that for you. There's a warning in 3333. It breaks down to a singular three. It's just, there's just a warning there. Doesn't mean that's what you are going to do. But they're always warned, do not let your ego take control. Be captivating, be inspirational. You'll be surprised where it leads you in the groups, in the circles that it leads you to. You're meant to expand your circle. And I'm talking about, maybe you're a hundredaire, right? A thousandaire, but you're going to be brought before millionaires, or, and for many of you, you're going to be brought around people who expand your understanding of spirituality or a religion. So I do see in love, especially if you're in a romantic connection, it's very important to mm, to be understanding of where they are in terms of spirituality or religion. You'd be surprised, I think, if you were to be more understanding, you might find that you have more in common than you think. Almost every single religion, I don't care what religious faction or whatever the organization, organized, whichever organized religion, right? I always find that every single one has the truth, but they have, it's like a mirror, right? If we were to see, the truth is the truth, like the unadulterated singular truth is a mirror. And at one point it got broken, and all of us picked up a piece, some bigger, some smaller. So everyone has something to take from it, and we should always respect that, right? And be more open and curious rather than condescending and thumping of your own belief, right? Towards another person, like, you need to believe like me. No, if we got smart as people and we tried to put it all together and find the similarities and the differences, and to really tap into something within us, we would figure it out, you know. But we're always, there's something here they're trying to bring up to you about religion or about spirituality, that you should be more open to listening to someone rather than condemning. I don't think you're condemning, but they're showing that there's something within other people, when it comes to their beliefs, that's part of your life's purpose, if that makes sense. Okay. Letting go of the Two of Swords and the Two of Pentacles. Well, then, what we're letting go of is negative thoughts, okay? And we're letting go of the many of the negative thoughts that I'm seeing are ones that kind of hold us back. The ones that are inhibitions, are the ones that say, I can't do that. You ever, I don't know if you guys are 80s babies like me, but remember the show, You Can't Do That on Television? I think it was a Nickelodeon show. It just came to my mind, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I think that was the show where they did all that slime. I could not stand that show because of the slime. I think it was that show. I used to be like, oh gosh, here we go with the, I can't do the slime. I was like I used to have a weak stomach. So I never really got sick, but it was like just seeing slime. I'd be like, oh yeah, ooh, mucus. Turn it off. But letting go of the things that we, the things that sabotage us, those negative thoughts that tell you that it can't happen for you because you weren't born in it, right? I don't have generational wealth. I could never, or whatever the case is, right? Let go of teetering on riding a fence and all that stuff, right? Don't rush anything. Let everything take its course. Things are going to come to you, especially with life's purpose. I always try to explain it as a scavenger hunt. It reveals itself to you step by step. It's never, spirit's not going to be some, for some people it's true, they do. It's not like, oh boom, here it goes, that's your purpose, there you go. It's like, if we tell you your purpose, you're never going to develop this skill. So we want you to develop the skill, and then as you're developing, based on where you are, will reveal some things to you. So I see that energy here of saying I can never do that, or I can't, thinking negatively about how that can, if something cannot be possible for you. You need to dream so much bigger. You might want to check into opening up your third eye chakra if it is blocked, or to use your third eye chakra to follow your intuition towards where you're meant to be. And you will know if it's blocked because you may feel confused. And when it comes to spirituality, you may feel like there's illusions involved. It may be very difficult for you to believe in certain spiritual concepts. Um, Even if it slapped you in the face, you had dreams about it and it happened, and all that, you still, that would be the vibe of a person. You ever see them scary movies when it's very obvious that something, the door opened, it was locked in five different places. They're like, it must be the wind. It's like the wind did not unlock your door, sir. We watched it happen. So that's the wind. It used to kill me. I watched the movies and be so upset, like, ah, oh, man, turn it off because it's already. How do you not see that? But I see someone that, if you're experiencing some of these things, and I know I'm making jokes, but and that's just my way. Okay, I'm an islander. I can't help it. But you may be sort of, there may be some confusion. Maybe you can't tap into your intuition. It's very difficult, and you may be focused or rigid in thought, like it can only be this way, and there's no other way to see it. Right? This is my truth. This is what I've learned, and that's just what it is. And you may feel like, like physically, if you had a blocked third eye chakra, okay, you may experience headaches, but you would. It's not regular, like, oh, I didn't eat today, headaches. It would be like headaches for no reason, right? Eye strain, like all of a sudden your eyes, and to be honest with you, Aries have sometimes have issues with the eyes, just the Aries sign. If you look at the Kabbalistic astrology and the breakdown of the different levels of Aries, right? First, second, and third. And I've only seen the word written. I've never spoken the word, but I believe it's called Deacon or Decan, Decan, right? I've read it many, many times, never heard it spoken, right? It's so based on that, you can tell with the eye aspect of things, right? But um, eye strain, sinus issues, right? You may find that there's nothing going on. I don't have a cold, but my nose is stopped up, or I have, a sinus headache. You might experience some neurological disorders, or like you have, I guess, what is it called, fibromyalgia, where you have unexplained pain in places, and sleep disorders. So like, may not be able to sleep, or you may sleep for a long time and not feel rested. That type of thing. You may just feel very unclear about things, and just don't trust intuition at all, and be afraid of the unknown. You need to have things rigidly done. And so if that's the case for you, and that could manifest in many ways when it comes to this particular aspect of like the reading, would be that you kind of like you have stuck to a certain type of people. So that could be with religion or spirituality. I only make friends with other, whatever religion, okay, whichever one, it doesn't matter, just throw one out there. Christianity, Catholicism, I can't say the word right, but you know what I mean. I only hang out with other Muslims. I only hang out with other Wiccans or something. I don't venture outside of this. And because of that, you are not learning anything, and that and not open to anything else. You've got to say things like, I believe in myself and my abilities. I trust my intuition. I see clearly and with understanding. You got to say these things like outwardly. Listen to 852 hertz frequencies too, and play it. You could play it in the background. It's very effective to play before, like while you're asleep, like sleeping, right, in the background. It opens things up. Especially sleeping at sleep time, that's an amazing time. I There's some on YouTube, right, that have the black screen, and I use that one quite a bit because if I watch the screensaver on those videos, sometimes I'll stay up all night and watch the fish swim in the same spot by accident. Um, so the crystals that you could use, right? Sodalite is a very powerful healing energy. Amethyst, um, you could wear the jewelry or have the stones. Lapis lazuli is an amazing one, and fluorite, and these are all those stones that help to boost your intuition or tap into your clair abilities, right? You could wear them, have them in your pocket, on your desk, wherever it is that you frequent, in the car. And the essential oils, you could even use these as incense too, or the scent itself, right? Uh, and you could use these oils like in a diffuser, or um, just wear them, right? Frankincense, sandalwood, clary sage is a good one, and lavender. I know I bring these up almost every day, but they're just amazing incense. They're amazing scents for anyone. So I have the the diet is blueberries and stuff, blue colored foods, or like purple colored foods, like purple cabbage too, if you can stomach it, because I love purple cabbage, but boy, the gas, right? But do like nutrient rich foods that are good for brain function, or start taking like omega 3s, or eat some like fish, like sardine. I think it's sardines or salmon and stuff, though, and tuna, great for the brain. um you want to do those types of things, okay? And spend time in sometimes in silence, here, because increase is the page of swords and the eight of wands, and the eight of swords speaks of being aware, but paying attention, being very observant, being curious about your surroundings, curious about what's being said, very very alert, and basically just more so listening. There's some associations we need to kind of end. We need to dream bigger. Anything that may make you feel like you can never go further. The type of people that you hang around that go, the sky's the limit, the limit's the sky, and you know what? The cards that we were dealt, we can never do the XYZ. Those types of people. I used to hang around people like that too when I was much younger, of everybody just assuming, like, it's a jungle out there. We can never really come up out of this, and it's not fair that so and so lives this way, and we'll never live that way. That kind of vibe. And I broke out of it because I was like, what all we're doing is wasting time complaining about a situation we could be doing something about. You know what I mean? And got out of that really quick. And they're kind of giving that same energy to you. If you want to break through the glass ceiling that you may feel you're under, and you're pushing and pushing and pushing, it's time to change your environment. Wear the color violet as well. The color violet actually inspires one to create a more balanced life. Okay, and yeah, you don't want to be around anymore. They're showing you being around narrow-minded, self-righteous, but also doubts themselves. You're around these types of people. They may even use religion as a reason why they suffer. I've seen that too. I was like, I was part of a religion that used to say that the reason why you're so brown is because you were cursed. And I'm like, huh? Nah, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Okay. That's not what happens here. Okay. We're not going to do that. Right. That if God is love, if our creator, whatever name you call it, no matter what name you call your creator, If your creator is all love, then where is condemning fitting into all that? You know what I mean? Where is that? Um, so either way, I'm only throwing this out here because Spirit is bringing this up, and I don't want you to put yourself in a box unnecessarily, right? I believe in myself and my abilities, right? So you could be dealing with a Libra, a Leo, Aquarius are main signs. I'm also seeing Gemini and Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio. So you could be a Pisces, Aries cusp. You could be dealing with a Gemini, Cancer cusp, Cancer, Leo cusp. I'm seeing Libra, Scorpio cusp, and Aquarius, Pisces cusp. If you're not dealing with those signs, which you don't have to be, those signs could also be in your chart. If you'd like to book a personal reading with me, my links are on my page. Peace, love, and light. Take care.